Illinois soccer coach Janet Rayfield joins us. Your team getting ready for an interesting road trip out to Arizona. A couple of good opponents out there in Arizona and Arizona State. And I imagine in addition to those two teams, the desert weather will be certainly something you'll have to contend with out there as well.
Yeah, I think the temperatures will be hot, but it's dry, everyone says. And, I think one of the things you have to learn to do is just compete wherever you are. The weather's just something you can't control. And the NCAA tournament, we could be somewhere where it's hot or we could be somewhere where it's snowing. And I think one of the lessons that we'll try to get out of this road trip is adapt to the time difference, adapt to the weather, adapt to whatever things get thrown your way, because you never know when things won't just go as scheduled or as planned. And certainly these kinds of weekends help you prepare for that later on down the line.
Let's talk a little bit about Janelle. Of course, she had such a great weekend for you with the hat trick on Sunday, another goal on Friday night. Well-deserved honor for her by the Big Ten Conference today.
Absolutely, and I think we're just scratching the surface of what Janelle is capable of. And I think we knew coming out of high school that she was a goal scorer, that's one of the things that she does and does well. And it certainly has taken her a while to get into that form, and she's battled through some injuries. And excited to see her back feeling confident in doing what she's done most of her life, and excited that that's starting to come to fruition for her.
And defensively, big improvement from week one to week two. Talk about some of the changes you made system-wise, personnel-wise, and how you think those might have helped out with the defensive effort.
Yeah, I think we certainly put some more numbers behind the ball and went to a four-back system, which, we toyed around with a little bit in preseason. We knew defensively we were going to be probably better in a four-back, but wanted to see what we could do offensively, and then we were doing some great things offensively, and but decided that we really need to shore things up defensively. The good thing is it hasn't really affected our offensive production. We're still able to get numbers forward. I think Cassidy's put in a position where she can attack out of the back, so I think we've been able to balance our attacking numbers and our attacking mentality with some defensive security, and that I think went well for us this weekend. We got to continue to work. There's still some cohesiveness in that defensive unit that we've got to work towards, but you change things, and now we've got to kind of start from square one in terms of getting that cohesive unit together, and it was better this weekend, but still something that we're looking to improve heading into Arizona and Arizona State.
Certainly part of that probably is playing a couple freshmen back there, in Claire in goal and Casey Conine on the back line. Talk about their progress from the beginning of training camp to where they are right now.
Yeah, I think every day they get a little bit more comfortable. Certainly Casey got some playing time under her belt in the midfield and now moving into the back line, and you saw some jitters on Friday night and a little bit more comfortable on Sunday. I think we all got comfortable with a goal in the first 17 seconds, but certainly you see them continuing to get more and more comfortable. You hear Claire communicating more and more as she gets comfortable knowing what sort of we want our defense to do as a unit. So that's going to continue to grow and grow. I think with all of our freshmen, and I've started to tell them it's time to stop being a freshman and to play the game that you've known all your life and play it with confidence. And certainly those two are starting to do that.
Let's talk a little bit about the opponents, in particular Arizona State on Friday night. Certainly they're a team that at least contends for NCAA tournament berth year in and year out. So what kind of style are you going to see from the Sun Devils on Friday?
Well, I don't know that we know, a whole lot about them in terms of, certainly it's a Pac-12 team and a team, Arizona's sort of one of those ones. They're usually a blend of a West Coast style, which is super possession oriented, and a little bit more, physical, athletic type game. So I think we'll see a team that's capable of keeping the ball, but they can also strike at any moment in terms of athleticism, in terms of playing a ball in behind you. So I think they'll test our defense. They'll make sure we're organized as they try to move the ball around, but we certainly have to be focused for that ball in behind you that they can certainly hit and have the athleticism to run onto and to threaten in behind us.
And the Wildcats, I think they're under a first-year head coach out there. I don't know too much about them either, but they did play Ohio State to a scoreless draw on Sunday.
Absolutely, and you look at they're a team that I would consider on the rise and rolling and gaining confidence. I think they were 1-something a couple years ago, and then a 500 season, and now they're off to certainly a winning start this year. So that's a team that's really kind of gained confidence and is continuing and really has something to prove, I think, now, and certainly have some confidence coming off a 0-0 tie, 120 minutes of holding Ohio State to a scoreless draw. Defensively, obviously, they certainly have things working for them, and so it'll be interesting. They certainly have their defense working. We certainly have our offense working, so we'll see who can neutralize who, I think.
And talk about just your philosophy on scheduling. I think your first trip out to Arizona, in particular, as head coach. But talk about how you try to find non-conference opponents that will challenge your team and maybe give them some different environments to play in.
Yeah, I think you want your non-conference schedules to prepare you for your conference schedule and for postseason play, and also to give your players an opportunity to experience different things, different styles of play, different environments, different people. There's styles of soccer across this country, and it's so vast. And so, I think venturing out to the West, and we've been to the East Coast and down south into Texas. So, I think we want to sort of over a player's career expose them to a lot of different styles. Our goal is to give them the best soccer experience we can over 4 years, and that certainly involves our scheduling. It's also nice to bring players into their home environment. Christina Farrell's from the Arizona area, and certainly her senior year, nice to get back into that area where she has family and friends that can get to see her play. So even that can factor into it occasionally.
All right.